Compare that to Mark Carney. I hear he's going to be announcing his campaign very soon. He looks and sounds good. I hear he's going to be launching in Edmonton, actually, try and get a small town feel. He looks and sounds good. He is still artificial, but he's better at it than I think Chrystia Freeland. This Oilers jersey picture is a little bit lame and forced. So was his skating on the canal. I think he's got that Ignatieff stiffness to him. But he's a good talker, is what I mean, better than Freeland is. She's got kind of Tourette's, I think. Here is Mark Carney last year taking a bit of a shot against Freeland when talking to me.
This was Canada. You could have him arrested.
Did you see that? Your rival, Chrystia Freeland, had one of our reporters arrested.
I don't think she did. I think
she didn't say a word against it.
If the police tried to arrest me,
it was the wrong thing. It was absolutely the wrong thing.
Well, thank you for saying that.
Look, freedom of the press. I've been a public figure in Canada. Been a public figure in the UK. I know you got to answer tough questions, and you guys, you ask tough questions, and that's fair.
So, who exactly is Mark Carney? Well, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. He's the consummate World Economic Forum man. He's been on their board too, but unlike Chrystia Freeland, who is on their board at this moment, Mark Carney has become a master of the universe himself. He's the chair of Brookfield. He's the chair of Bloomberg LLP. These are billion-dollar or trillion-dollar companies. He really is a master of the universe. And like Ignatieff, he seeks to collect Canada as a little bauble. Listen to him tell a Liberal MP that he knows how the world works. He's one of the high priests. You got to trust him.
One of the knocks on me that the opposition makes, or part of the opposition
a WEF global elite.
Exactly. I'm a WEF global elite.
John Barrett is too, but, I don't know. Campaign coach here, that never comes up.
He's banned his ministers from going to World Economic Forum events to cater to conspiracies, and you've been a board member for over a decade.
I've rolled off the board, but that's absolutely right. I had a board member there, and I used to go there with Prime Minister Stephen Harper when he was there, and etc. But let's be clear what my international experience. I understand how the world works. I know other world leaders. I know people and understand. I know people who run some of the world's largest companies and understand how they work. I know how financial institutions work. I know how markets work. I know the good and bad of that. I've experienced it. I've had to, in some of my roles, discipline the financial system, discipline with others, the world's largest banks, the Wall Street banks in America after the crisis. So I understand how the world works. I'm trying to apply that to the benefit of Canada. So I'm not going to run away from the fact that I understand how things work.
Does he really know how the world works, though? I mean, he's the world's biggest carbon tax advocate. He's for DEI, woke corporate governance. In the world of corporate governance, that's called ESG, environmental, social, and governance. He's never lived a normal life. I mean, right out of high school, he went to Harvard and then to Goldman Sachs. And then after working for a bit in the Department of Finance, he became the head of the Bank of Canada. And then he went to become the head of the Bank of England. Now, his chief goal has always been to push climate policies and other World Economic Forum priorities. He is, I think, accurately called the world's leading carbon tax advocate. I actually don't think he knows how the world works, as in what it's like to be a farmer or a factory worker or a waiter or one of 99% of ordinary things. I don't think he knows how to actually do anything. I think he would have run the LA Fire Department as a woke DEI playground. I think the thing he knows how to do is to schmooze with CEOs at conferences and how to manipulate numbers on a balance sheet and how to tweak GDP by opening up mass immigration. I think he does know that. That's the stuff he's an expert at. But I don't think he knows anything about real life, real people, real problems. And the fact that he says he does and he sneers the Conservatives down and Pierre Poilievre doesn't, and the fact that he won't take ownership of the Canadian economic disaster, even though he's had an influence on it for years. I mean, remember, he's been Trudeau's economic advisor for months. I think it shows he thinks the way it is at the World Economic Forum is the way the world ought to be. I actually don't think he knows anything about the world. He's anti-populist, of course. He's one of the masters of the universe. I personally think he's the worst possible candidate for the times and for the troubles that our country has right now. I think the whole world, the pendulum is swinging back away from that wokeism. But here's the thing. There is a very real chance he will win on March 9th. Electronic voting, online voting, anyone could win. And if he does win without a seat, he'll be the first prime minister. He'll still be prime minister on March 9th. Even if he doesn't have a seat, you can be the prime minister without a seat in parliament. Trudeau said he's going to resign. It'll be 15 more days until parliament resumes on March 24th. That could be the first time MPs vote non-confidence in him. That's not a lot of time to be a PM. He'll use that time to put his personal stamp on things, to make some appointments, to introduce a cabinet, to make some announcements, to change some policies. But the main point is, on March 9th, while Parliament is prorogued, if he wins, he will be slipped right into 24 Sussex Drive. No Canadian election with citizens and adults voting. He'll be selected by this bizarre liberal process of children and permanent residents and anyone who can activate a computer account. He'll be selected, not elected. And you know what? I can absolutely imagine Jagmeet Singh being persuaded to give the new guy a chance, to continue supporting Carney, propping him up like Jagmeet Singh has propped up Trudeau so many times, until October, when the election is now tentatively scheduled. So if Carney can negotiate with Jagmeet Singh, and he would give him anything for this, Carney wouldn't just have 2 weeks as an unelected prime minister. He would have 7 months, more than half a year. That's a long time to put your imprint on the world. Mark Carney, the World Economic Forum prime minister, to replace Trudeau and to beat Freeland, themselves World Economic Forum masters.
What we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina, and so on, is that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are for our actually young global leaders of the world.
My friends, don't be so sure that we're going to be in an election in the spring. I think there is a 50-50 chance we will have Prime Minister Mark Carney ruling over us without an electoral mandate, without a seat in Parliament, for more than half a year first.
Oh, hi, it's Ezra Levant here in Toronto with an important message because we need your help. Independent journalism in Canada is under attack. Government censors, big tech deplatformers, and the dying legacy media are all working together to maintain exclusive control on the information you receive. They don't want you to hear other voices like ours, and they really don't want you to be informed and to think for yourself. That's why the work we do here at Rebel News is so important. Our on-the-ground reporting, independent news shows, and special content you won't find anywhere else. It's all designed to give you trustworthy information and alternative viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. We don't get government money, and we are not owned by some big global conglomerate. We're funded by people just like you, so please support independent journalism and help us continue our work by subscribing and becoming a Rebel News Plus member today, right here on the page. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. Members get instant access to all of our shows, invitations to exclusive events, and access to our premium content like live event footage and documentaries you won't see anywhere else. Only Rebel News Plus members can join the conversation by participating in the comments section of our new website. That way you can have your say too. More than anything, though, you'll be able to take pride in supporting real, honest journalism, and you'll help our talented team continue to do the work to push back on the establishment. We really can use your help. We need it, in fact. So thank you, and enjoy Rebel News Plus.